Hey YouTube, Free California here, and today we're going to talk about how banning firearms will make you safer. No, that doesn't sound right. So that's what the government and Hollywood would like you to believe, is that banning a tool will make you safer. Which would make sense if criminals followed laws, which would make them law-abiding citizens, which would in turn mean that we don't need to ban anything because it's already against the law to use a firearm in commission of a crime. Anyways, this is the fallacy that I would like to talk about today, and just so you all know what fallacy means, I looked it up. And this is the definition per Google. Fallacy is a mistaken belief, especially one based on unsound argument. Well, I think that fits the bill pretty much perfectly. Historically speaking, everything that's ever been banned has turned into a breeding ground of criminal activity. And the problem isn't with the objects and the items themselves, the problem is with the people misusing them. So what's the real way we can stop bad people from doing bad things with things that aren't inherently bad on their own? Well, that's a good question, and the really difficult response and reality is that humans and human nature prevents us from really fixing the problem. People will often compare the United States to other countries who have banned firearms like the UK. And the interesting thing about it is that there really aren't that many deaths by firearms. However, the bad people who will do bad things regardless of what the laws are still doing them. In fact, they're doing them in very brutal and unconventional ways that we don't think of here in the US, such as using a knife or machete or a hatchet to, in fact, dismember and kill people. So you may be asking yourself, well, if you don't have an answer to the problem, why would you tell us this? Why does it matter? We can eventually just ban everything that will cause other people harm. And the fact of that matter is that you will never be able to ban enough things to make yourself safe. If it comes down to it, people will use rocks just like back in the Old Testament to kill each other. It's just human nature. So what can you do to protect yourself from someone who, no matter what the laws are, is still going to try and cause you harm? Well, you can arm yourself. Now, just because I'm pro-gun doesn't mean that I think that necessarily everyone should be carrying a firearm at all times. There are situations where other means of defense are perfectly suitable, and in the event of an emergency where I had to defend myself, I would prefer to use some sort of a non-lethal versus the firearm element, escalation of force, if you will. I'd rather start out with pepper spray or a baton or a taser. Unfortunately, here in California, batons are illegal. Pepper spray is legal. I do believe there are some restrictions on how strong it can be for civilian use, and taser is a good option as well. There's a taser made by the taser company called the C2 taser, and it's similar to those that a police officer uses. However, the biggest difference is instead of just the initial burst and then from squeezes of the trigger, continuous bursts if the suspect is not compliant, this one you would shoot and the barbs would stick into the perpetrator, and then you would set the taser down on the ground and you could go for help, and over the course of approximately 15-second intervals, I believe, it will continue to tase the assailant. That way, hopefully, by the time that the law enforcement arrives, they will still be there and be able to be detained. So that's really the answer, is afford yourself the ability to protect yourself. In worst case scenarios, after all of their options, to include running away, have been used up, having a firearm is a great alternative to become a victim of somebody who is intent on removing you of your property and your life. So it's just something to think about, and I ask that all of you would continue to write your senators, congressmen, and hopefully vote for things that will further our freedom and ability to defend ourselves, for us, the law-abiding citizens, who will not use weapons or tools to harm others and further our own interests. So while I have you here, I wanted to show you free California stickers are now available. Just a little card, it's a little sticker. And once again, for the first 50 subscribers, you will be able to receive a free California sticker, and I will pay the postage and send it to you. All you have to do is comment down below saying that you want one, and then we can private message, get your address and stuff, and I'll get one out to you as soon as possible. If you see this video and you agree with what I am saying, please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, show your neighbors, I guess. Let them know kind of what it is that I'm going for. And I recommend for everyone in the United States who is pro-freedom to join the NRA. And they are a really big voice, and they do a lot for us. The more members, the more they can do for us, the more the United States will see that we're willing to band together and stand up and not just sit here and complain. And this is really my way of doing that also. For those of you in California, there's a few groups in California. I believe Cow Guns is one of the biggest ones. I sponsored them, and I just would ask that you would take the time to kind of look into it and really think about the value of your life and your family's life, and really try and consider whether you think that you should be able to defend them, or if you'd rather just let someone who is inherently bad take advantage of you and your family. So just something to think about, food for thought. Leave any comments, questions below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I think that about wraps up my spiel for the day. So God bless America, and long live the Constitution. Thanks.